Ready? Well, I'd like to just sit there and continue eating brisket, but unfortunately we got to talk a little bit about the game now. And it was a disappointing game. It was a odd game. It took a lot of different turns in the first half and second half, and there's a lot of things that we need to shore up before our next game to give us a chance to compete and win for our homecoming game here in front of the home folks.
What happened on that wide receiver screen pass late in the first half by Colorado?
You talking about the fake? Yes. We were on our normal field goal block in that situation. We have a check. If they do go to any type of offensive set, which they did, they went to an empty set. There was a miscommunication as far as who was supposed to cover the receiver coming out. It was cleaned up late. We did actually have a guy in coverage, and he lost his eyes into the backfield, which you can't do whenever you're in man coverage. So, and they cashed in on it. So that one was on us.
Say some things you need to shore up. Where does that start?
Well, starting on the defensive side of the ball, tackling at the point of attack. It's no secret. It's been an issue for us throughout the season. We're going to try to, attack that the right way as far as, emphasizing it more in practice this week. And again, ultimately, it just comes down to tackling and the willingness to tackle because they busted too many long runs where it should have been a stop for no gain or a relatively short gain. So it's definitely an area that we need to improve upon on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, I would say it's just being consistent and efficient for extended drives. We go out there, we take it right down the field, very efficient drive, mixing up run and pass, and then we come back and we have inefficient drives that put us behind the 8 ball as far as the score was concerned. And then we come out in the second half and the third quarter, put up nearly 300 yards and play about as well as the offense can play, and then again come back 2 straight drives and have turnovers. That was the story of the game. Not stopping the run on defense and turning the ball over on offense. We don't really talk about stats as a team. I think stats are completely overrated, but one stat that we do talk about is turnovers. And although we've been pretty good with the ball this year, we're +3 in the turnover category. We turn it over at inopportune times. And we had a safety that to my, in my looking at the game, that was the turning point of the game. It was 28-28. Jamil gets sacked and he fumbled. And Jamil cannot, you don't want to give up a sack, but Jamil in that case cannot give up the ball. We preach ball security every day. We work the drills every day. It's a main emphasis for our program. We turned the ball over, it scooted back, and it ended up being a safety in their favor. Now what that does is it gives them the ball immediately back. We held them to a 3rd and long, and then they broke a long pass on us, again with some missed tackles on that pass. So immediately got a 9-point swing. We got the ball back offensively and drove down into their territory, and again we're sustaining a nice drive, and the young freshman fumbled on a play that really wasn't a violent hit or anything like that. He just had poor ball security on that play, and he fumbled. And that turned into a 16-point swing, one that we weren't able to overcome, and it happened in a flash, much like our scores did in the third quarter. And that's how quickly a game can turn. And it turned because of turnovers on the offensive side of the ball, and then the defense's inefficiency of keeping them out of the end zone in those situations. And to me, that was the story of the game. I was extremely proud of the team being down at halftime, 28-7. I know this team didn't fold its tents. We talked about just that is not an insurmountable lead to overcome if you just chip away at it, take it one score at a time, one series at a time. I really felt they did that in the third quarter and fought hard to get back in that game and put it at a 28-28 game. And then the turnovers happened, and we didn't overcome it.
Let's talk about the last 2 minutes of the first half. You guys have a chance to put some points on the board going in. You guys won three runs and ended up winning. How was it just getting into the locker room?
No. Number one, the runs were called with the thought of getting the first down. And the first down stops the clock, gives you an opportunity to continue that drive. Where we were on the field, in between the 50 and the 40, if we're not in a 4th and 1, we're not going to go for it at the end of the half, because at that point we hadn't stopped them. Okay, and they had enough time and timeouts to move that ball down the field. So if we went for it at that point of the field, that's an easy chance for them to possibly get a field goal or even a touchdown before the half. That may have been an insurmountable lead. So at that point of the game, we needed to regroup, go back, talk about it, and figure out how we can get back in the game. I think we did that successfully as a team. Just when we got back into the game, we didn't take advantage of that because the momentum had swung our way at that point. But that's a decision that I will not go back and second guess, because those decisions are pre-planned. If the other team has an opportunity to score points and we're not in a position to get a first down that's makeable, then we're not going to make a decision to give another team points. It's kind of like coming out at the end of the half and a team's backed up and they got 30 seconds left. I don't know how many times you see a team in that situation get a sack fumble or throw an interception and give the team easy points, where you hear on TV, why aren't they just taking it down the field? What are they doing? Sometimes you got to play a little conservative in that area to kind of put the fire out or stop the bleeding. And in that case, we needed to regroup, and we identified that as a staff, and that's the decision we chose. But and at the time, you want to get points, but you don't want to give up points at that time. And I think it helped us. It helped us give us time to regroup and come back and get ready for the second half. Well, you can improve upon fundamentals, and you can show when the effort is there, when the effort is not there, and you need to constantly point that out. As a football player, you can improve on anything. It's a willingness to want to improve on that. As a coach, I can improve on things. It's a willingness to want to improve on that. Everybody can improve. So I will never take a status quo approach like, hey, this is what we got, this is as good as we're going to get. I don't believe in that. We're going to work at it. And every day, guys behind them need to work to try to beat those guys out. And if they do, if they're performing better, they'll get an opportunity. If they certain individuals continually show that they can't do the job, there'll be a change, whether it's with the guys on our team or guys that we recruit. So we're not going to stay status quo, but we do need to improve. We acknowledge that. And being a head coach, I acknowledge it.
Coach, it appears that the players defensively, they're flying to the ball, they're getting into position, and things stops, and it just seems that the offensive player always seems to get 3, 4 extra yards. Is that a question of just you, from a coaching standpoint, you all are doing your job, but just the players aren't executing?
I would never say that. You'll never hear me single out a player, single out a coach, and you'll certainly never hear me say, well, we did our job, but the players didn't do their job. We're all in this together. It's all a collection of coaching. It's all a collection of playing and doing your job on the field. But we need to do a better job overall of just finishing plays, finishing the tackle, wrapping up the tackle. And to me, that comes down to fundamentals, and it's something that we'll attack furiously and try to emphasize, much like we do other things on our team.
Coach, one more thing on the fundamentals. It's the same issue in years past with these defenses. We've heard of the tackling issue before. Are players not necessarily being taught about the fundamentals and tackling before they come to Division I college football?
I would say that depends on which programs guys are coming from. Some guys come from programs that are just very, outstanding fundamentally, and they come in with good fundamentals. Some other kids don't. So that's on an individual basis. What we need to do is not worry about that and worry about what we can do to help them fundamentally get better. And the only way you can do that is emphasize it and work it. It's not something I can go down to the room and go, hey guys, this week we're going to tackle better. Go get it done. Where I say, hey guys, this week we're not going to fumble the ball ever, no more. It's over with, no more fumbling. That's not how it works. You need to work those drills. You need to work fundamental drills so you don't fumble the ball. You need to work fundamental tackling drills so when you are in position, you make the tackle. So it's just going to come down to hard work, acknowledging that there needs improvement there. That's the first thing. It's kind of admitting if you got a problem, we got to work at it.
Richard Spencer, kind
Well, I wouldn't say it's good graces. He's been injured. And, he got an opportunity to go out and prove that he can play and play healthy. I think it was a big mental stepping stone for him playing in that game and coming out of it healthy. So, he'll be a starter moving forward. And, again, with any of the guys that have been sidelines that have been previous starters, I'll put Jamard Reed in that category too. He got his first extended playing time because he was healthy, and he played fairly well. So he'll get his opportunity to start. Being a head coach, I'm always going to try to have the best players out there, but if the guys aren't healthy, they aren't healthy.
What about Jeffrey now?
I'm hoping to have both those guys back full force this week, which will benefit us offensively, and in Dowell's case, special teams as well. So that's getting back basically 3 players when you talk about the contributions L.A. Dowell makes on special teams.
Coach, what do you know about the Texters?
Very athletic, good team speed. They lost a lot of people from last year, so in many ways they're a lot like us. They're young in some areas, but they got great athleticism. That's always been the case. Louisiana Tech, when you play them, they're going to have good athletes. They got very good size up front on the defensive line, and they've got some very active, fast linebackers. Offensively, they played with 2 different quarterbacks. They had the one get hurt earlier in the year. They probably haven't put up as many points as they wanted to, but you can see they're getting better and better each week in their system offensively because they have a new staff as well. So it's going to be a challenge for us. We're extremely excited about it to come home, and we got to get a win at home. We got to get a win for the home folks because they've been outstanding. The fans have been outstanding. We need to reward them with a win on homecoming this weekend.
Coach, I know it's like the offense want to run over, keep slinging the ball like that, but with the success Jamil had, do you think you're going to start to open it up a little more?
Well, again, it's what are they giving you? Coverage dictated a lot of things that we did in the third quarter. It wasn't like we came out and go, you know what, we're just going to come out and sling it every down from now on. That's not how it operates. If there's a quarter that we get 200 yards rushing, it may be because they're giving us a box that gives you looks that you can run the ball. We have several things that we can go to offensively. What I like is we have balance. It's not one of those deals where if they say, if you load up the box and stop the run against UTEP, they can't do anything. Well, then we can go out and we can throw it. Same thing. If you take away coverage-wise, there's been situations where we ran the ball very well. I would like to see us be more balanced throughout the drives where we're mixing in running throws and being efficient at it. And there's been times we do that and our offense really hums. I've been pleased with the production at the 4-game standing with the offense. But we got to be more consistent. I think the offense can get better and better. I really do.
Do you need to shore up your O-line, or are they getting stronger protection?
We struggled a little bit there at the end of the game against 56. And we knew that going into the game, he's an outstanding player. I'll be honest with you, being a former line coach, those guys work hard. I've been pleased with the progress of the offensive line from day one up until this game. And we're not, because of a couple sacks, going to panic. But maybe in some situations against a player like that, we'll try to give the tackle a little bit more help, just like you normally would. But on those particular plays, he didn't have help, and going against a very good player. We'll face a similar type player this week, so we'll have to make some adjustments to be ready for that.
On the other side, you have 2 sacks this year. Is there anything you can change up schematically?
Again, I kind of liken that to tackling. I don't think it's the scheme at all. I think it's a matter of getting to the quarterback and defeating your blocks, executing your technique, and getting to the quarterback. Probably, again, teams have been running the ball on us a little bit more than throwing the ball. We really haven't faced a true spread, air-it-out passing team yet. But again, a lot of that has to do with the inability to stop the run, and we got to shore that up before anything.
Coach, they use 2 quarterbacks in this system. You've used 2 quarterbacks so far. You prepare for both? Are you expecting one or 2 years?
Yeah, you always prepare for both. You have a plan in place, if one quarterback is playing. It would just be like, I'm sure teams preparing for us. They'll prepare for Jamil Showers, but they'll also have a plan in place, in case Blair Sullivan was in the game based on what they've seen on past film. So from an offensive standpoint, if you see a pass rushing defensive end and then you got a different type defensive end, you do prepare for both. Well, it's the same on both sides of the ball.
Coach, I know you touched on the fans a little bit, but homecoming Saturday, 0-2 at home so far. How do you get the win at Sun Bowl?
Well, I'm just asking that the fans come out and support the team just like they have the first two games. We're not going to stop working and we're not going to stop competing because we lost 2 games at home. We're going to go out there and fight to try to get that first win at home, and what a better game to do it than homecoming. And we're excited about the game. We're excited about playing a conference game at home for homecoming, and we're hoping that the fans come out in full force and support us, and we can give them something to go home happy about.
You have over 400 yards rushing with Army. Do you see a stat like that? Your mind starts turning on where you want to take your offensive attack?
Well, yes and no, because Army's a true wishbone. If you watch the film, they're their own scheme. So what we're not going to do is come in here on Monday and go, you know what? We're going to change our entire offense to run the wishbone offense. That's not us. Army does what they do. Just like if we're watching film and somebody's going out there with 5 wides empty, like Kansas was, and move the ball effectively, we're not going to come in and say, you know what, scrap the offense. We're going to go 5 wides empty, and we're going to throw it every down. There may be some things we take from that film that fits what we do, whether it be empty or whether it be some type of 3-back offense. But we're not going to change our scheme. We're not going to change our philosophy as long as I'm the head coach here ever. It's just going to be a matter of doing those things better, and that comes with hard work and discipline. That's not going to change. I know it's a boring thing to hear, but it's not going to change. Hopefully that answered your question. Anybody else?
How important is it going to be to get the 2 home wins before going up that
Well, we need to get 1 home win first. We need to take every game 1 step, get that first win, and then we'll worry about the second. But our focus right now is completely 100% on Louisiana Tech. Anybody else? Duke, you're not going to ask me what bars I've been to in El Paso? I can give you a long list.